You're watching CW Montana. This is the MTN 9 o'clock news.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. A pickup truck involved in a Butte shooting last night is now tied to a Billings murder on Sunday that left a 50-year-old man dead. 21-year-old Colby Clark of Billings is charged with attempted deliberate homicide after allegedly shooting a 26-year-old Butte man 3 times. It happened just after 5 last night at a skate park off of Shields Avenue in Butte. Clark then led police on a chase before he crashed his truck and ran. Police captured him just a short ways away. Now, just hours before, Billings police had requested the public's help to identify a small light-colored single-cab pickup truck also involved in a fatal shooting Sunday in Billings. 50-year-old Micah Myron was shot in the front yard of a home on South 31st Street and died soon afterwards at the hospital. Police say there were 2 people in that truck the night of the shooting, and there was also a dog riding in the truck bed. Now, last night's 26-year-old Butte shooting victim is expected to survive. A trial date is now set for a triple homicide in Bighorn County, Wyoming, as the accused killer pleads not guilty to murdering 3 family members back on March 29th. 55-year-old Dana Beartusk pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of first-degree murder. 54-year-old Sina Fisher, 51-year-old Angelina Beartusk, and 25-year-old Mooch Daviano Fisher were found dead at the suspected killer's home. Beartusk was arrested in Montana after leaving Wyoming and telling a family member that he had killed someone. The trial is set for September 28th. Well, the Blackfeet tribe today reported a tribal member has died as a result of COVID-19. Tribal officials note the individual was not on the Blackfeet reservation at the time of their passing. The news comes as the state reported there are no new confirmed coronavirus cases today. The state's latest report shows there are now 56 active cases across Montana. For the first time, we are hearing from a Billings woman who says she struggled for days with the coronavirus and spent 2 weeks in the hospital fearing that she would die. But as Q2's Andrea Lutz reports, this survivor wants others to know just how serious the symptoms can be.
Rachel is an essential worker at a local grocery store, so she didn't want her identity, her face, and her last name to be included in this story. But she tells me she spent the last 14 days in the hospital, fearful because many times she couldn't breathe.
First time in my life that I really felt that I could die.
Now back home after being released just yesterday, Rachel is resting comfortably. But her journey up until this point has been eye-opening.
People say, oh, it's the flu. It's just the flu. No, it's not the flu. If I can stress that 1,000,000 times, it is not the flu.
Rachel says her husband got sick first, but oddly enough, he tested negative for COVID-19.
24 hours later, I had the fever and a chills and a cough. But I still didn't think, since he was negative, I didn't think anything.
When she showed up to get tested, she was admitted right away. With oxygen pumping into her lungs, she says she struggled to breathe.
And they listened to me, and they said, we're admitting you. And they put me on 50 liters of oxygen immediately.
She spent time in the hospital sleeping mostly. Now looking back, her biggest question is how she even got the virus.
So I was working 1 4-hour day a week. So when I found out, I was like, how is this even possible? I didn't know where I got it because we didn't go anywhere.
And she has just one piece of advice for others.
It is very serious. And if I can get it, anybody can get it. Please be diligent. Please listen to the guidelines. That's what they're there for. They're a protection. And Rachel did want to pass along how grateful and thankful she is for the hospital staff and the care she received while she was in the hospital for those 2 weeks. She says the nurses and doctors were excellent. In Billings, Andrea Lutz, MTN News.
All right, thank you, Andrea. And come Monday, if you're boarding a United or Delta flight, make sure you pack a face mask in your carry-on. On May 4th, passengers on both airlines must wear a face mask or appropriate face covering. Frontier will require masks on May 8th. American and Alaska Airlines implement the rule on May 11th. Now, people unable to keep a face covering in place, including children, are exempt. The number of people flying out of Billings is down 92% in April compared to last year. Aviation Director Kevin Plone estimates only 2,800 people went through screening last month compared to more than 36,000 last year. A controversial news conference held by two California doctors has gotten a lot of attention on social media this past week, but not good attention. Q2's CHAQUILLE COZART has more from a Billings doctor who dismantles their claims and tells the community to continue to social distance.
Videos of a news conference held by two California doctors has gone viral in the past week and has been repeatedly taken down from YouTube due to information that causes health concerns.
Do we need to still shelter in place? Our answer is emphatically no. Do we need businesses to be shut down? Emphatically no.
During the conference, both doctors went against CDC guidelines and denied the importance of national and local government stay-at-home orders. We talked to Dr. Brad Fuller here in Billings for his thoughts on the claims that were made by those doctors.
First of all, just to say we should get it and build up a natural immunity isn't appropriate because we still don't know long-term sequelae from this infection. We don't know if it increases your risk of lymphoma. We don't know if it increases your risk of chronic lung disease. We don't know if it increases your risk of heart disease. We don't know enough about it now to say, oh, if you get it, no big deal.
Dr. Fuller states that there are flaws in the arguments regarding our body's immune system.
We've already been exposed to many viruses, bacteria, fungus, and our immunity is built up. So to say that if we quarantine ourselves in our house for a month or two, that we lose this immunity, that's simply not true. Our immunity lasts for years, decades, centuries, potentially.
The two California doctors also attempted to compare COVID-19 to influenza, stating that the spread of COVID-19 has been similar to that of the flu.
They talk about it's ubiquitous and that it's out there. Influenza is out there, coronavirus is out there, and that people die from flu and people die from coronavirus. It's the same. It's not the same at all. More people died in 1 month from coronavirus than we did the whole flu season.
One of the main claims that was made during the conference was that COVID-19 has a very low mortality rate at around 0.01%, which they say is less than the flu.
If you did the same logic that they are using, I calculated the number for global, let's just go global now. The mortality rate would be 0.0029%. According to their math and their fuzzy logic, that's no big deal then. If we're worried about 7.8 billion people in this world and only 0.0029% are dying, large volume, small death, that's just such an illogical number.
Dr. Fuller urges the public to continue to social distance and follow the guidelines that the CDC and Yellowstone Unified Health Command have put in place to keep people safe.
Social distancing works. If you take the percentage of deaths by the percentage of population, it is clear as day how it works.
In Billings, CHAQUILLE COZART, MTN News.
All right, thank you, CHAQUILLE. Come Monday, Yellowstone County bars, restaurants, and casinos will open their doors for the first time in 6 weeks. Local owners and employees have jumped through some major hurdles to keep their patrons safe and make this happen. The staff at Lucky Sevens Casino in the Billings Heights is more than ready. In fact, owner John Gies says he's been ready for several weeks. He says his business has been deep cleaned from top to bottom, from inside out to the patio. He's rearranged his machines so they are all 6 feet apart. He says his whole team is coming back to work and they've all been trained on the new cleaning process.
We're going to clean our machines from top to bottom, the chairs and everything, so when a customer leaves and a new customer comes in, they know that machine has been cleaned. And then we're also going to be providing hand sanitizer and gloves for our customers as long as we can get them. Also clean all door handles, both coming in and out of the building. Every ATM, any touchable surface, we will be hands on deck cleaning it to make sure everything is safe for our customers and our employees.
Gies also says customers will open their own beverages and soft drinks from the fountain will be served in plastic cups that will be used just one time only. As part of the Federal CARES Act, Montana has $1.25 billion to spend on impacts from the pandemic. Today, Governor Bullock unveiled a report recommending how to spend that pot of money. The 24-member council chosen by the governor recommends 3 areas of economic assistance: immediate safety net spending, such as assistance to local food banks; business stabilization, including direct grants to businesses and nonprofits; and a jump start for tourism, hospitality, and entertainment businesses. The The council also recommends money be spent on direct public health and health care expenses, such as testing and tracing efforts. That report is only an outline. Decisions on actual spending will be made by the state.
What this report isn't is it's not a list of selected or specific projects or grant recipients. It is not a recommendation of how much money should be allocated to each specific relief program. The state has an obligation to ensure the funds are spent in accordance with the federal guidelines, rules, and regulations. The state must be accountable for the expenditure for every taxpayer dollar.
The governor will likely announce the first round of earmarks next week. Montana District Court will not allow online signature gathering for 2 ballot measures aimed at legalizing marijuana in Montana. Judge John Larson denied the request yesterday. Earlier this month, a group wanting to put marijuana legislation on the November ballot filed the lawsuit against the state and Secretary of State Corey Stapleton. In the lawsuit filed in Lewis and Clark County, New Approach Montana argued because of the pandemic, it wouldn't be ethical to gather signatures in person. New Approach Montana says it will consider an appeal and options moving forward. You have likely noticed road construction has taken over parts of downtown Billings. City officials say the pandemic is decreasing vehicles on the road, and that might help those crews out. Right now, the Montana Department of Transportation is working on the 27th Street project, which is set to run all summer. In conjunction with that, machines are lining the downtown corridor as crews replace water lines on 1st Avenue North between 33rd and 31st. Since the virus hit, crews have more flexibility.
We've got a handful of intersections around the city that we're monitoring. We've seen a decrease as low as even 40 and 50% a few weeks ago when the shelter-in-place guidelines first started taking hold. We were seeing the big impacts to the traffic. Recently, we're seeing a trend in the opposite direction. It's starting to come back up, and it's actually driving back up to almost normal traffic at this point.
City employees say the coronavirus has also forced some safety changes for their road crews and project managers. Still to come on tonight's MTN 9 o'clock.